Welcome, everyone. So, the week of August 26th, we're going to be working with the vibration of the 35-8. So, anytime that we work with an 8 vibration, this is really an opportunity to work with the more tangible things in life because it really is a focus on the material plane and all things material. So, I see this week as a potential opportunity to get back on track. So this can have a heavy focus this week on money, resources, sort of how we manage that money and those resources, how we obtain that money or those resources, our relationship to money, resources, and how we can go about, again, managing that area of our life so that we feel that we are getting the most out of that exchange, right? So for some, it may be a closer look at the work that you do or what it is that you do for money. And do you feel like you're getting an equal exchange of your energy in return for that monetary value, whatever it is that you get in exchange of that? If you don't, this could be a week where you have those bigger conversations with management, with your boss, to at least try to get what you feel you are worth. And sometimes we have to compromise on that a little bit, right? Like we might think we're worth, $10 million, and maybe we are, and sure we are. But when it comes to like a product or something that we're selling, or even, our contribution within the workplace, our value is somewhat dictated by what other people will pay for that item, right? So I guess what I'm trying to say is like if you are someone who owns your own business, you might think that your product is worth, again, $1 million. And it probably is with your time and investment and the love that went into it and all of those things. But in reality, your product is only as valuable as what someone is willing to pay for it. So this could be a good time, especially for the entrepreneurs out there, to take a closer look at your pricing to see, are you making yourself inaccessible to the vast majority? And that doesn't mean that you should give your product away for free. That doesn't mean that you should give your services away for free or sort of minimize the value of said service or products. It just means that this is a great week to sort of get on track with any area of our life that maybe we are setting up our own pitfalls, where we're setting up our own barriers where there doesn't need to be a barrier. And so I use money because that's such a strong focus of the 8 vibration. And so again, if you are in a situation where you have a product for sale or a service, again, take a closer look at, are you sort of pitching that price point based on what you feel you deserve for it solely, or are you also taking into consideration what others are going to be willing to pay for it, right? And so a lot of times what I say to myself is, how much am I willing to pay for this service? And then I kind of use that as my gauge. When it comes up to making my own marketing and price points. For those of you who work for someone else, if you do feel like you're being underpaid or undervalued, this is a great week to speak up for yourself and to sort of pitch why you feel like you deserve more and why you feel like you're being undervalued or underpaid, with the understanding that the company that you work for, the people that you work for, may not have the ability per their budget to meet you there. So compromise is always key in these kind of exchanges, but this is a great week to stand up for yourself, to ask for what you need with an open mind and with being flexible for what you will receive or what the outcome will be. Remembering that you always have a choice, like you always have a decision, right? If you speak up for yourself and you say that you want more money or whatever, and you can validate the reasons why you deserve that. And if the company is not able to do that, then this would be a good opportunity to start to look for something else, start to look for a new position to apply for. And, it's very possible under this 8 influence that what you initiate at this time, especially as it has to do with sort of empowerment and value and getting your value in, again, your services, your contributions, and that exchange. This is a great week to initiate that. And that's why I kind of am focusing on that. Same thing with if you own your own business. This is a great time to evaluate or reevaluate your price points and what you're charging for your services to make sure that, again, you are getting an equal exchange of energy, that you feel that you're getting value out of what you're putting out there, and that you're getting, an equal exchange of that energy. But don't price yourself so high that you become inaccessible to the market that you're trying to appeal to. This is a big vibration for empowerment, right? So all things power. So some people could see some power struggles come up this week where, again, if there's some kind of dynamic where someone has control or power over you, this is the week to find ways to get that power back, to, again, stand up for yourself, raise your standards, speak up for yourself. You are your own best advocate. So if you don't speak up for yourself, if you don't, stand up for what you need and advocate for that, there's not a whole lot of people that will likely do that for you. And so this is a week to, again, see where it is that you feel that you're being, again, taken advantage of, that someone has control over you that doesn't feel good or doesn't feel right. And this would be the week to assert yourself, to stand in your power and speak up for what you need. So empowerment is a strong theme this week. So anywhere where there is an unequal balance of power or control, this would be a week to kind of take a look at that and be very honest with yourself, and then see how you need to approach it so that you can, again, claim your power back. And in some situations, it's going to mean making those very difficult decisions and, having those very difficult conversations. And also it may mean, releasing yourself from a situation that is no longer working or that is giving your power away. And so again, for some of you, that may mean a shift in work, a shift in relationships. Family dynamics could be affected with this vibration. Anywhere that you feel that you are being taken advantage of or that your power is being sort of taken away, this would be the week to really, again, put yourself out there, stand up for yourself, and take the reins back within your own life. Now, on the flip side of that, it's also going to ask us to look at where it is that we sort of exert power over others, or where we use our power or influence in a way that is controlling over another person, right? So where it is that we might need to check ourselves and, release some of that control, release some of that power that we might be sort of taking advantage of, or, and a lot of that could be sort of any situation where you feel that you have to control every aspect of it. And it can be in relationships as well. If you feel that, you've got to control what the other person does or what they think or what they like or whatever, there's going to be an opportunity potentially for this week for you to take a closer look at that and see where is it that you're trying to control that person or that situation. And there needs to be some shifts to that dynamic. So that could come up as well. Definitely this is going to be a week for taking a look at where it is that we are meant to have greater authority in our life. And that can be over our creative output. That can be over, again, just how we present ourselves in the world, how we show up in the world. Again, speaking up for yourself and speaking up for what you feel that you need is absolutely being the authority within your own life. And again, with compromise, so that you're not so rigid or so closed-minded that if the other person can't meet you there, that you just sever all ties without, being a little bit flexible, because the 35 this week is definitely asking for flexibility and adaptability. So I would say approach whatever you approach this week with also an open mind, an open heart, and being very flexible in sort of what the outcome might be. But there's definitely this call this week to gain more authority within our lives. And really what I mean by that is if there's some area of your life where you're feeling like the victim of the universe, or a victim of circumstances. This would be the week where you are meant to really take a look at, okay, this is the situation, this is what I'm dealing with. What are my options? Like, what can I do to change the situation, to make it better, to make it fit more with what I want to see? And that might mean, going back to school and getting certified in an area that you want to pursue. That might mean getting a mentor and being open to what they have to say and the wisdom that they have to share. That might mean, having a stricter budget within your home situation so that you can manage your money in a way that works for you as opposed to against you. That could mean, realizing that your current job is not the job that is for you, and then starting to take the steps to find something that is. So again, it's recognizing that some things, of course, we don't have control over. So we don't always have control over the circumstances, but we certainly can start to get a plan, a strategy, or some kind of methodology to start to work towards what it is that we do want, right? Without trying to be too controlling over what that looks like. But the 8 energy reminds us, and sometimes it's subtle, sometimes it's not so subtle, that we always have a choice in how we show up to life and how we decide to move through it with our choices and our decisions and our actions. So this week could have you taking a closer look at what is it that you can do to get better results with the circumstances that you are working with. So this is a great week to kind of take a look at that. And also, again, management sort of comes in. So managing your resources potentially better, and your money potentially better. Managing how you show up to relationships and whether there's a strong control factor there. And sometimes when control comes into the dynamic of relationships, it's because we want to keep ourselves from getting hurt, right? So we try to control the outcome of that relationship, or we try to control the other person in order to make sure that we can get the results that we want to see. But through that, of course, we have power dynamics, manipulation, and control tactics, and that never works in the long run. And though our intention might not be to be showing up in that way, we can certainly be doing that stems from our fears. And the 8 vibration helps us to see where we're doing that so that we can rectify and change course. The other thing with this vibration, with the 8, is this is a great time to, and you may see some opportunities come in at this time, to use the higher octave of the 8 vibration to help others, right? So if you are someone who, has strong finances, or you are in a position of power or influence, something along those lines, this is a great energy to use that vibration and that power and that energy to help others in some way. So you might see that you get an opportunity to open doors, or to, bring somebody on board that might have not had an equal opportunity to do that if it weren't for you. So there's a lot that you could see where your assistance might come in to really help someone out at this time and to really open those doors for others. And ultimately, at the core of the 8 vibration, that's what this is all about, is really, becoming, financially successful, or successful in some way, or influential or powerful in some way. Not for self-serving purposes, but to be able to help others in that process as well, so that not only I succeed, but I can help you and others succeed as well. So there may be opportunities this week where you're being called to open those doors for others, or to be that sort of beacon of light that helps to uplift, empower, inspire others. And that's a beautiful power to have. So the 8 makes sure that we don't abuse it. And if we are abusing it, then we'll likely see the consequences of that. Let's see. The other thing is, this could definitely bring in this vibration of success and achievement. For some of you, this could be a week where things that you've been working on, things that you've been implementing, and maybe they've recently come to fruition, you could likely see a lot of rewards this week and great success from the work that you've put in, or the efforts that you've put in. This is a very successful vibration, especially with that 35 and especially with the 8. So this is, again, a time potentially for those very tangible rewards in the very physical material plane. So again, you could see a promotion, you could see an increase in finances, or an increase of followers, status, power, etc. But remember, because it's that 8 vibration, it's going to constantly come back to say, okay, now what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with that success? What are you going to do with that power and that influence or that money? That's, again, not only self-serving, but serving others as well. Now with the 35, this is such an interesting energy because it kind of brings this vibration of like anything is possible. And that can mean like reach for the stars because anything is possible, but it can also mean anything is possible. So be prepared for the expected as well as the unexpected, and just be as flexible as possible, because a lot of things could show up this week that, again, are unexpected and are different than what you may have anticipated. And you can absolutely work with whatever presents, and it can absolutely benefit you in some way, but you just have to be open to working with it, right? So something might present this week and you might see it as like a sort of like a step back, or you might see it as a failure or something like that. But if you look a little bit more closely, it's an opportunity that actually has great seeds to it. So you can plant these seeds and nurture them and really grow something potentially very fulfilling and very successful. But it might not come in the packaging that you expect it to this week. So just be very open and adaptable to what presents. And yeah, it could be very successful. Flexibility is going to be a key theme this week, though. So, again, you might see maybe you invest in something and then there's some kind of loss within that investment. And it would be quick to see that as failure and to just scrap the whole thing. But really what this vibration is saying is, no, there's a better way, and this loss is showing you that. So what can you build from that loss, right? Or from that sort of valley that you might be hitting at this point in time. And it's in rebuilding or building something more solid that you're going to see that success, or that, the greater vision that you were maybe potentially looking for. Whereas if what you were working on succeeded, you might not be able to get to that higher octave, if that makes sense. The other thing I would say about this is definitely the 35 brings sort of this high vibe, like high vitality sort of energy. So you could feel like you are going or want to go a million miles an hour. And I would say that's great. Definitely use this energy to your advantage. Just don't let yourself burn out. Like definitely pace yourself. Don't allow this energy to become overly combustible where you're just right out of the gate, just, burning up all that fuel. Use that to your advantage to be strategic and to plan ahead for how it is that you want to implement whatever it is that you've got the energy to implement now. And the last thing I'll say about this is, with this 35, is it definitely brings in more responsibility and the need for greater discipline. So you might see that you get a promotion this week, or you might go and have that conversation with your boss and just get that raise. But in order to get that raise, maybe they need your, title to be different, or some of your job duties to be a little bit different. And so with that increase of, that finances, you could likely see more responsibility and more discipline are needed in order to step into that new role. So just again, I would say this is definitely a week to pace yourself. You will likely feel that excitement and like that get up and go type of energy with that strong like motivation and again, just a sense of vitality. But definitely pace yourself. There's no rush. I would say definitely have a strategy for whatever you implement at this time. And if you can do that, and again, no matter with what presents to you this week, no matter like how out of the box it may be, then you will likely see great success down the road. But it's going to require your dedication and discipline and holding that vision in order to get there. So yeah, interesting week this week, but definitely very much on the material plane, very much the tangibles are in focus this week. So yeah, great opportunity to again sort of get back on track in any area that we have felt sort of out of balance when it comes to these themes and topics. So I hope it's a great week. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.